So to make the poppy seed garden ornament, which you can make as a cane topper, so it's quite small, to put in the soil, or you can make it larger to sit amongst a flower bed purely as a decorative feature. Or the disc on the top could be for birds to drink from, so it becomes a bird bath, a bit like the Pauline Lee ceramics one, like this one here that I think I was on the email. So the top bit here is for water, and obviously this bit sits on the garden or in the flower bed, and the birds can feed from it. So even if you want to make a large one, I think it's quite a good idea to make a smaller one first to get to grips with the techniques and the processes. So this is one that I've made. Okay, so this is a small one. This is about 100 and it's about 11 centimeters high. So without the little disc on. So from top to bottom here, it's about 11 centimeters high. So obviously it's pinch pot, so there's a hole in there to let the air escape. So it's 2 pinch pots put together. I've started to work on some of the ridges, which you can do if you want to, or you don't have to. You might be able to see there's just some lines in here as well that I've just scored in with a pencil. So you could just put lines in if you want to. I've just started to put some ridges in. And there's a little collar on the top here, and then sits like this, and then the disc on the top, which is a circle, which you'll see. I'll show you how to make in a minute. That just sits on the top like that. So obviously you could make that bigger if you want to, but that's at the minute that's about 11 centimeters, and then you've got the little disc on the top. The disc on the top is about 9 centimeters wide. So obviously if you want to make it a bigger one, that's also doable as well. So this would go on you could put a cane through the bottom here, and that could sort of sit in the soil. So for that, you will need 2 balls of clay. So I've got some, just for reference, I've got some pictures of poppy seed heads here. So that's an actual poppy seed head. This one is I think they're made out of metal, and they're very simple. So you could go really simple and just keep them as ball shapes. Don't do any detail on. And then the little disc on the top is almost like a sort of flower shape. So you could keep it quite simple if you wanted to. So the balls, I've already sort of rolled them a little bit. I've wedged the clay and rolled them. These are 300 grams, okay, just to give you a bit of reference, so you're wondering what size they are. That's a 300 gram ball of clay, which again I did email you, so you can pre-weigh them before the session. So pinch pots, just to recap, you're going to push your thumb in, okay, and then you're just going to press all the way around, okay. So obviously you've made your dimple in the middle there, divot in the middle, and then you're just pressing all the way around. This clay isn't very soft, it's quite a nice consistency to work with. You don't want it too soft, because it'll be flipping around everywhere. So I'm going to try and make the top as even as I can, and because they're both the same amount of clay, you should be able to get them roughly the same size. Okay. Don't worry too much about this top here, because what you can do is you can tuck it on the table, and that will level that off for you. So it's a bit flatter at the top now. So put that to one side. Get your other one, and push your thumb in there. It's better to hold it in your hand like this rather than to put it on the table. So if you press it on the table, you're going to get a flat bottom, okay, and we want a really nice sphere ball shape, so it looks like a poppy seed head. So keep it in your hand and keep moving it around all the way. And you can check it make sure they're going to fit together. That needs to be a little bit wider at the top here. And I did spend quite a bit of time on the first one. That showed you at the beginning, but I'm going to do this one a little bit quicker because obviously don't take too much of your time. I want you to get going on it. So again, don't press too thin. You want it to be quite robust. Let's have a look at that. Oh, that was a bit. Has to come out a little bit. So just keep putting them together to make sure they fit together nicely. Okay, so that should be alright. Okay, and also you can try and make sure that they're the same sort of height as well. Next to each other. Right, so this clay is quite a good consistency, but I'm just going to put a little bit of water around the top. So make sure you've got a bowl of water, which again I would have said you needed. So you should have everything ready. And then put those two together. So it's a case of just pushing them and sort of like twisting them so they stay put. You can just join them together, but I think it's quite a good idea to get a little sausage of clay. This is I've just already rolled this. I've literally got a bit of clay, rolled it around, rolled it along. It's like a tiny coil, so it's quite a small coil. And then you're just going to put this all the way around that join, so it's level, and also it helps it stay together. And if you've got any of that coil left, put it to one side because you will need that for the little collar at the top where the dish sits on. So join that together, smooth that all the way around the outside. And it's joining, it's going to reinforce, but also it means that you haven't got a big divot in the middle that kind of goes in. It looks like one smooth egg shape. So once you've done that, you can carry on smoothing it. You can use just use your thumb if you want to, or you can get your metal kidney, or if you've not managed to get a metal kidney, you could use a credit card. Go all the way around on that, just so so you can't see that little coil of clay anymore. All the way around. And then you've got your egg shape. You can also, just to neaten it up a bit, you can use your hands, but you can also use you know, a rolling guide, or any flat piece of wood. You can use like a wooden spatula from the kitchen, they're quite good as well. But you just want to pat it all the way around, but only very gently. You don't want to, when you're doing a pinch pot and joining them together, you don't want to press too hard at all, because it will cave inwards. If it's looking a bit egg-like, you want to bash the top and the bottom a bit so it becomes more of a ball. You want a ball, a sphere shape for the poppy seed head, because that's the shape it is. It's not an egg shape. If anything, it's quite a squat ball shape. You can spend a bit of time smoothing if you want to. I'm not going to. I'm going to get on. So that's your egg shape, okay? And I've propped mine, I'm going to show you now, I'm going to move this one over. I've propped mine in a cup, okay, so it's just a paper cup, but you can use any cup, and it's also got this bit of fabric. I'm just going to put this one down a minute. It's got a piece of fabric like this, because otherwise the edge of the cup cuts into these edges here, so I've put a bit of fabric in there as well. You can use anything, you can use a bit of you can use a plastic bag or some tissue, anything to stop the sharp edges cutting into the ridges here, or even the whole ball shape. So that's quite handy to have. So you can put your ball just on the side, but I'm going to put it in here to keep it from getting a flat edge, flat bottom. So now you need another ball of clay. Okay, this ball of clay is 80 grams. Okay, again, you will have had that information. So, and you can just press it. Okay, so you're just pressing it into a circle shape until it's quite thin. You don't want it too thick, because you'll see from the poppy seed head pictures that the top bit is quite thin and delicate. You can, if you've got a rolling pin, use a rolling pin, but you don't have to. Give it a good bash down until it's roughly about 9 centimetres. Yeah, that's about 8. So. And then you're going to find the middle by taking a ruler, using a pen, or I've got a little cocktail stick here, going across the middle. I'll show you, I'll hold it up. You don't need to be too precise about it, okay? So you've got a line going across the middle. I'm just going to make that one a bit further over. You can alter it a bit if you want to. And then what we're going to do is we're going to cut it into, it needs to be in 8 sections, okay? So that's, at the minute, obviously we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 sections, so each one needs to be chopped in half again. So you can either do it by, eye, which might be better. So you're going in half each one of those. Okay, so now we've got 8 sections there. So, and each one of those, each section needs to be cut in half again. And obviously it's an organic shape, it's a flower, so you don't worry about being too precise about it. So I've cut them down the middle as well. And then we're going to create a curve for each section. I'll show you. Okay, so I've drew a curve for each one. And this middle section here is going to go up into the middle of the curve. So you can just keep going round. I'm going to do it down here because it's easier. So it's like a flower, drawn like a flower all the way around the edge. Okay, so I'm just going to, you can cut that with a knife. Again, I'll do that and then I'll show you. I'm just cutting around the curved edges now. something like that. Okay, and then in the middle of each one of those curves is another line. I'm just going to emphasise that a bit more with a barbecue skewer. I'm just pressing down the middle. Okay, so I'll do one in my hand. So you're just pressing down the middle like that. To make an indentation. And then make these edges a little bit thinner. Because they're a bit, it's the thickness of the clay, you want to get rid of that really. And then if you've got something you can use as a circle for the middle there, it can be anything. I've got some hole cutters, but it doesn't matter what it is really. You can make a circle in the middle. So it should look something like that, okay? You've got your sections and then you've got a circle in the middle there. Make these a little bit thinner. These edges a little bit thinner. So you've got your ball shape. This is going to go on the top like this, okay? So you can create a bit of a dish shape, okay? That goes on the top like that. The little collar on the top. Right. You can put a little collar around on the top like that. With the spare bit of clay you had. Make that a little bit smaller. Again, depending on what consistency your clay is, you can put some water on it. Spread the clay all the way around. And that will give that's like a little colour, it gives it a bit of height. And then you can press that so it creates a bit more height on it. Smooth that all the way around. So then that's going to sit on there, smooth on the inside as well. And then you can see that. So it's probably half a centimetre high, maybe. And that's the inside, but you don't think you need to put your hole in there. And then your little dish sits on the top. Okay, so it's up to you how much you curve it upwards. And then the ridges are strips of clay. So again, you can draw some lines down to the middle. Okay, and then you can add roll this little bit here. A bit of water on there. And then push that onto there. And it won't be too high. It just needs to be a little sort of ridge. Use your finger either side, or if you've got any tools you can. And I used this sort of wooden knife tool, so it looks like a knife that end, and then it's got another smoothing tool the other end. So you can bit if it's a bit high. So that's one ridge. Obviously you can do them all the way around, or you can just draw lines if you want to. And then in these sections here, either side, you just need to flatten it. I used the wooden handle bit of my knife. You could also wait for it to dry a little bit and carve those sections out a bit. And you can just use your hand to accentuate that flattened bit there. It does look better actually when you've got another coil another coil here and another coil here. Okay. So that is the poppy seed head with the little dish on the top. You could actually stick this on if you wanted to, rather than having it rather than being able to take it on and off. And actually, if you were having that in the garden, you would need to stick that on, else it's going to fall off. So that's that. So, and if you wanted to do it bigger, obviously you would just use a bigger amount of clay, which you should have enough for. But it's be quite good to do a little one first. Okay, there you go.